to the goddess. Don't break your promise. Thou shalt be faithful and honest. Hey there, my name is LexC, and thank you so much for tuning in. As you just heard, that was my rendition of the song National Manthem by Little Mix. And if you are interested in hearing the harmony breakdown for this song, then definitely make sure you stay tuned. This was a special request by one of my viewers. Thank you so much for this request. And again, if you are interested in hearing the harmony breakdown for the song National Manthem by Little Mix, then stay tuned. If you're interested in just getting a quick breakdown and you don't necessarily care about the extra details and explanations of this breakdown, then listen to the next few moments of this video. If you want something more detailed, then you can continue listening after the breakdown for the detailed harmony breakdown of this song. Something that you should know for the quick break, there are 5 parts to this song. You have an ad-lib part in the first 10 seconds of the song, and then there are 4 different harmonies: low harmony, mid harmony, high mid harmony, and high harmony. So let's listen to those different parts. This first one is the ad-libs. Next is the low harmony. Pray to the goddess. Don't break your promise. Thou shalt be faithful and honest. Next is the mid harmony. She is a bad bitch made up of magic. Pray to the goddess. Don't break your promise. Thou shalt be faithful and honest. Next is the high mid harmony. She is a bad bitch made up of magic. Pray to the goddess. Don't break your promise. Thou shalt be faithful and honest. Next is the high harmony. She is a bad bitch made up of magic. Don't break your promise. Thou shalt be faithful and honest. That was a quick breakdown of all of the harmonies included in the song National Manthem for Little Mix. Give that a listen. Practice, 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 whether you are recording yourself or practicing with a group. Listen to each of those individually, put it all together, and you've got the full harmony. Now, if you are more interested in a detailed harmony breakdown, stay tuned. For this song, I actually heard 5 different parts that are going to be necessary for completing and achieving the harmony and the fullness that Little Mix accomplished during this song, National Manthem. So there are 2 little tiny ad-libs in the very beginning of the song, and then there are 4 different harmonies that I heard in this song. There's a low harmony, a mid harmony, a high mid harmony, and a high harmony. So I'm going to play all of those individually for you, and then at the end we're going to hear the finished product. Something that I want to make a disclaimer about is I do stack all of my harmonies 4 times. So the way that I did this, I have each of those 4 harmonies in the center And then I have those 4 harmonies stacked. Each harmony has 4 different stacks. I have those panned and spread out around the voices that you're hearing in the center. So keep in mind that is going to be a reason why mine may sound more full when I am playing my presentation for you versus what you might hear after you put your recording together. So keep that disclaimer in mind, but let's get into the breakdown for National Manthem by Little Mix. This first piece that you're going to hear, these are the 2 little pieces of ad-libs that are in like the first 10 seconds of the song. So when you're singing these ad-libs, honestly, you can really do whatever kind of ad-libs come to mind. There are 4 harmonies, and then if there's one person who just wants to do kind of like ad-libs and different runs as the group is singing, or if there is someone who is not currently singing a harmony, they can take on the role of doing these little ad-libs. It's completely up to you. Or if you were recording this by yourself, doing it solo, then like I said, it's completely up to you the kind of ad-libs you want to do. These particular ad-libs though, I'm doing a mixture of my full voice and a falsetto. So keep that in mind. That's what's going on here. The next harmony that we're going to get into is the low harmony. Let's take a listen. Pray to the goddess. Don't break your promise. Thou shalt be faithful and honest. So for these low harmonies, the low part doesn't come in until the second line of the song, Pray to the Goddess. So you just have to watch out for the timing if you are in a group, or if you're listening to this by yourself, watch out for the timing of when you are coming in on this. You can make up your own harmonies for those first notes coming in, but again, to stay true to the recording that Little Mix did, the low harmonies do not come in until the line Pray to the Goddess. Like I mentioned earlier, if you have a group who is singing, since the low is only coming in on those second lines, the person who's singing the low harmony, they can probably sing those little ad-libs that are in the first 10 seconds of the song. So keep that in mind if you are practicing with a group. Otherwise, let's get into the next harmony, which is the mid harmony. Let's take a listen. She is a bad bitch, made up of magic. Pray to the goddess. Don't break your promise. Thou shalt be faithful and honest. That was the mid harmony. Something that I want to point out that is of special note is you have to make the decision whether or not you want to have a lot of vibrato when you are singing these harmonies, or if you want to keep things pretty straight. So there is a lot of vibrato, especially on the part that says, don't break your promise, that promise. You could, that's a lot of vibrato, but what you could do if you don't want to do that is to keep it more straight. So instead of don't break your promise, you could do don't break your promise. And even that was still too much vibrato because you can hear the shakiness that I'm applying to it. But you can do extreme vibrato. Don't break your promise. Or you can do kind of like a slight vibrato. Don't break your promise. Where it's like only on the end. Or you can try to keep it as straight. I'm going to try to keep this straight. Don't break your promise. Can you hear the difference? So that's something that I want you to keep in mind when you are getting into the mid part as well as the high mid part. They have the distinction of vibrato in very specific parts. So listen to that little detail when you are listening back to the mid harmony and the high mid harmony. So now let's actually listen to the high mid harmony.
She is a bad bitch made up of magic. Pray to the goddess. Don't break your promise. Thou shalt be faithful and honest.
So, just like I talked about with the mid harmony, as far as vibrato, in this high mid harmony, you could really hear the vibrato in the words goddess, honest, and promise, where vibrato is that extreme shakiness. It's still on key, but it's a variance of the key that's slightly above and slightly below the key that we're supposed to be singing, but it adds body and it makes the singing a little bit more interesting, especially in live situations or, in recorded situations. It just makes the vocal performance a little more interesting. So as I mentioned when we talked about the mid harmony, the same thing with the high mid harmony, you have to decide how much vibrato, or if you even want to do vibrato at all. Sometimes it can be difficult to master the vibrato, so you can make the notes more straight. You just have to decide, is my vocal ability good enough for me to have those slight shaky variants in the pitch? But let's move on to the very last harmony, the high harmony. This one, you'll be using your falsetto voice, your head voice. Let's take a listen.
She is a bad bitch made up of magic. Honest. Don't break your promise. Thou shalt be faithful and honest.
Something that I want to caution you on when you are singing this high note, which is in your falsetto and head voice, make sure that you are getting plenty of air. Something that makes a falsetto / head voice difficult for people is the fact that they're not taking in enough air to be able to slowly release to hit the note. So most of the times when you are too flat or too sharp, I'm going to say too flat. Most of the times when you are too flat on a note, it's because you're not giving enough air to support the note and to push out what you need to push out to hit that note. Same thing is true with the head voice / falsetto voice. You need to make sure you're getting an adequate and appropriate amount of air into your lungs to hit these notes and to do smooth transitions. And that is especially true for this high note, especially at the end of that phrase, when you're going from like a softer falsetto to a more forceful falsetto with the very last few words. It shifts from soft to powerful with that honest. So you have to be able to make sure you are controlling how much breath, as well as making sure that you took enough breath in the first place. Now let's take a listen to all of those harmonies put together. Let's listen one more time.
She is a bad bitch made up of magic. Pray to the goddess. Don't break your promise. Thou shalt be faithful and honest.
That is the harmony breakdown, the detailed harmony breakdown for the song National Manthem by Little Mix. I do hope that it helped you as usual, and let me know how you feel about this presentation. I didn't really feel like getting on camera and showing my face. It's just easier for me to do this process in Pro Tools now that I have this equipment available and set up at my house. But let me know what you think about this presentation, or if you would prefer to see my face, let me know in the comment section down below. But thank you so much for tuning in. I do hope that you listened to the full detailed harmony breakdown, because there are a lot of different details and intricacies that you do need to pay attention to when it comes to listening for different harmonies and executing different harmonies and deciding, am I going to sing more straight on the notes or am I going to have more vibrato? And it's those little differences that really add a certain texture to the performance and a certain excitement to the performance, if you know what I'm getting at. So thank you so much for listening to this harmony breakdown. Let me know in the comments section down below what song you would like me to break down next, and I will get to that. I will try to get to these a lot quicker than I did for this one. This one took like 3 weeks, which I do apologize on the timing, but hey, at least we got it, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was everything you wanted. So make sure that you practice these harmonies, and you can record yourself on your own phone, or if you have access to a recording studio, then you can record yourself singing this song. I wish you all the best and success on creating your own version of this. And I hope that by listening to the breakdown, you got a chance to train your ear even more to hear the different types of harmonies. So listen to one harmony and then go back to the song and see if you can hear it for yourself. Keep listening to the one harmony that I'm pointing out and going back to the original song and listening to see if you can pick out that harmony for yourself. This is how you're going to train your ear to be able to mimic certain harmonies and pick out certain harmonies. Because the name of the game in singing is really all about listening. And then once you hear something, can you mimic what you heard? So keep that in mind. And again, I hope this helped you. If it did, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell if you are watching on YouTube, so you'll be notified each and every time I post a new piece of content. If you are listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give me a 5-star review and leave a written review as well, so that this can be pushed into larger audiences and I'll be recommended for more people, and so the show can grow. I would greatly appreciate that. If you would like to go the extra mile to support me, please consider going to my Patreon, patreon.com/LexCATL. That's patreon.com/LexCATL. And for as little as $5 a month, you can become a supporter, where you will get instant access to the content as soon as I upload it, not when I decide to make it public for the general public. So I could have recorded this breakdown a few weeks ago, sometimes even a few months ago. That's literally the time difference between being general public and being a patron. So if that's something you're interested in, getting early access to the content, then consider becoming a patron. Otherwise, I do also share content that I don't make public for the rest of the world. So it's kind of like a nice little insider. And it's also, once I build the community up, it'll be a community where I offer one-on-one consultation or monthly check-ins and Q&A sessions to help us become better artists and better performers and better musicians, all of that good stuff. So if all of that sounds like something you'd be interested in, or like I said, you simply want to support me, then please consider becoming a patron of mine at patreon.com/LexCATL. Other than that, thank you so much for listening and tuning in to this harmony breakdown. Until next time, my name is Lexi. Peace.
She is a bad bitch, made up of magic, right to the God.